rain could become the hero in the battle against that devastating forest fire in Pender County.
But as the storm clouds move eastward, firefighters are more concerned about the gusting wind that could push the flames over the fire line again.
We get the latest from Leonard Simpson.
Firefighters manned containment lines, but were careful to point out the blaze was not contained. Shifting winds and lack of rain continue to hamper efforts to extinguish it. While replacements waited near the main fire line, other units guarded the southern boundary to keep it from spreading.
This is Road 210, and if it hits that side, we got a possible another 3,000 or 4,000 acres gone.
73,000 acres, $45 million of woodlands have gone up in smoke. It has left a grisly path of destruction. This is a graphic example of the devastation of this fire. The 10,000 acres around me were set as a backfire to control the main blaze. A cabin was the only thing spared on 2,200 acres of Jay Cottle's family game lands.
I was here at 10:30, left, went to a family reunion, came back at 3:30, and it was all over. 10,000 acres in 3.5 hours.
Today, rain began to fall to the south and west of the flames, but skipped over where it was needed most. In Pender County, Leonard Simpson, News 2.
The gray sky and steady rain that's been falling on the Triad is a welcome relief for many people.
And fears that flames would jump fire lines in a 9-day-old blaze that's already consumed more than 75,000 acres of beautiful North Carolina forest. Included in that scorched earth is a game preserve. And Sandy Gilmore reports that means the fight against the fire is also a fight to save lives of creatures great and small.
The Holly Shelter Game Management Area is, or was, 48,500 acres of pine trees and brush teeming with wildlife. Officials say all but 2,000 to 3,000 acres were destroyed. North Carolina Wildlife Resources employees working on fire lines today found a young survivor.
These deer probably, with their mothers, probably ran into the area and the fawns become exhausted and lay down, whereas the mother is real frightened and they continue to run on.
Wildlife Resources officers are waiting for the forest to cool down before making a formal estimate of the possible destruction of the creatures that inhabit the woods, including deer, rabbits, quail, bobcats, even black bears.
Well, like I say, it's still too early at this time to tell. We could get some rain, to stop the fire. We could save what is left.
Peat moss, the carpet of Holly Shelter Forest, continues to smolder. It sends a sweet smell throughout the silent woodlands. Game officers spotted a lone deer foraging on a surviving tree. The fawn was to be taken to a veterinarian, while overhead scavengers began their own survey of the devastation. Sandy Gilmore, CBS News, Hempstead, North Carolina.
Rain fell along the Carolina coast today, and it brought some relief for the nation's largest forest fire in Pender County. It's a 9-day-old fire that shows no sign of relief.
Well, Leonard Simpson is covering that story for News 2. He's standing by in Wilmington right now. Leonard, how much rain did you have down there?
Well, Lee, there was a shower that swept in off the ocean this afternoon and swept into Wilmington and left Wilmington with some considerable rainfall. But by the time it made it into Pender County northward, it sort of just fizzled out. We were told from the fire scene just a few moments ago that it did indeed rain on the fire, but it was just a light sprinkle and apparently didn't amount to much. But without that rain, those flames are likely to continue. The fire has consumed about 72,000 acres, 10,000 of that set by the Forestry Service to rob the main fire of fuel and help control it. Firefighters are careful to point out that while they're manning containment lines, the fire is not under their control. Most of the firefighting today was done from the air, with Marine Corps planes dousing the flames with chemicals. Firemen from all over North Carolina have come to Pender County to offer assistance. Many waited at command posts for their time on the front line. But the longest wait here is for the elusive rain that promises to bring this battle to an end. As you can see from those pictures, those firefighters are indeed weary and they are ready for this thing to be over with. Lee and Sandra.
Well, we've all been concerned about those firefighters, Leonard, and we've heard various numbers, 200 to 500. What is their situation, and are there reinforcement? Is somebody looking out for those people?
Someone is looking out for them. They have some state people here coordinating people who have come in from the other side of Asheville, literally across the state. There are people here from Greensboro, Winston-Salem, the Triad, and some backhoes and some firefighting equipment arrived today from South Carolina and Georgia.
What's your situation? How long are you going to be down there?
We hope not long. We hope for some rain, but so far it has eluded us.
Okay, thanks a lot for that report. We'll be checking back with you.
Okay.
Good evening. The rain eluded Pender County tonight, dashing the hopes of foresters who were fighting that 75,000-acre fire. Their concern now is gusting winds, which could push the leaping flames across the fire line again. We get the latest from Leonard Simpson.
What firemen now call a war is still raging. It's being battled primarily from the air. Firemen on the ground have built containment lines and are waiting and hoping that high winds and lack of rain won't accelerate the blaze.
We got gusting winds 30 miles an hour, and that's not good on something like this.
This is a graphic example of the true devastation of this fire. The 10,000 acres around me were set as a backfire to control the main blaze. The damage includes nearly all of a 2,200-acre family game preserve that Jay Caudle cherished from childhood. This small patch of green and an old cabin are all that's left standing.
Oh, it's mighty heartbreaking. We put a lot of time and work and had some good times and a lot of memories, and I guess they're all gone.
While some wildlife were able to escape the flames, the fire also took a grisly toll. Back on the front line, the battle continues against the elements, with hopes that rain will soon bring relief. Near Maple Hill, Leonard Simpson, News 2 Tonight.
At this hour...
It may not have been a downpour, but it was enough to make a stadium stand up and cheer. 1/1800th of an inch of rain has fallen in Wilmington today, and that's the most substantial rainfall in over a month.
And welcome rainfall was felt where a fire in Pender County still smolders. You're looking at the pictures now. The bad news is farmers in our area have had little rain, and the forecast isn't very optimistic about that situation getting much better. Good evening. I'm Richard Rogers, and this is the news. Today's rain is being blamed for a serious accident just
Have
before
gotten
noon.
the best news yet. Officials say the blaze that consumed more than 73,000 acres will probably stop at that. The fire is 98% contained. However, State Forest Service spokesman Don Cass says they're not out of the woods yet, literally. An element of danger still exists.
Southern part of the fire, we still don't have as good of fire lines in there as we need. There's a lot of unburned fuel down there, and there's still a good potential for the fire to come out if the winds would shift.
Cass says firefighters will stay on the scene until the area gets a good soaking rain, and then there will be the matter of clearing debris. Now that things have calmed down in Pender County, people are just beginning to realize the true extent of the devastation there. More's been lost in that blaze than just timber. As Kelly McNeil reports, there were memories tied to the land, not to mention the lives of thousands of animals. Some of the pictures you're about to see are disturbing and may upset young children.
Jay Caudle is one person who will be especially glad to see some hard rain and the Pender County fire beaten once and for all. But all the rain in the world won't bring his property back to life.
We put a lot of hard work down in here, and we've had a lot of fun and a lot of good times, and it's just very depressing to come down here and see this. We won't be hunting here this year.
This cabin is about all that's left on Caudle's 2,200-acre plot. It was destroyed by backburning on Sunday.
I was here at 10:30, left, went to a family reunion, came back at 3:30, and it was all over.
What took only a few minutes to burn will take 15 to 20 years to replenish. Carcasses of dead animals are strewn all through the area, especially in the 48,000-acre Holly Shelter Game Reserve. All but about 4,000 acres of it is now a charred wasteland, and it will be a while before anyone knows just how many animals were killed.
It's hard to answer. I'm a third-generation owner down here. It'll probably be the fifth generation that gets to hunt down here again.
This is the Holly Game Shelter. It once contained one of the state's largest concentrations of Virginia white-tailed deer. Now those animals, along with other wildlife, have either been killed or left homeless by the fire. Tomorrow morning, officials with the State Wildlife Commission will be on the scene to fully assess the damage. Kelly McNeil, Eyewitness News 3 in Pender County.
Even parts of Pender County that escaped the actual flames have sustained damage from the huge blaze, economic damage. David Haynes of the Carolina News Network reports from Topsail Beach.
The Atlantic Ocean laps up against the shore of Topsail Beach, only a mile or so from where the fire raged over the past week. The barrier island is home to 285 people in the off-season and 6,000 during the summer months. Much of this weekend's tourist business was affected by the fire.
Business was pretty bad, and kind of people were trying to get back off the island, especially when that dark cloud come over and they said it's going to close Highway 50 up. and everybody started heading out. Everybody had their car lights on, going out. It just looked like it was night out here.
The fire never threatened the beaches. It couldn't cross the intercoastal waterway, but there have been some effects here. This is a layer of heavy ash and soot that fell on the beaches over the weekend.
Sunday morning, it was real smoky, foggy. It looked like fog, but I tell you it was smoke. By about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, we had a real dark cloud that came up that looked like a rain cloud. People started putting on their rain gear out here because they thought it was going to rain, but it was a fire cloud.
On the Jolly Roger Pier today, fishermen were casting their weekend troubles aside. Most of the talk was about the 11-pound bluefish that had been caught. Fishing hasn't been too good this week, and no one is sure if that's because of the fire. But whatever the effect on fishing, the impact on the seasonal economy of this and Pender County's other beach, Surf City, is virtually nil. And so it is throughout Pender County. The land that burned was only worth about $450 an acre. And after a good rainfall and some time, the forest will return. I'm David Haynes for the Carolina News Network.
And still to come on.